my honor to welcome the Prime Minister back to Camp David. I look forward to spending a good 3 hours talking to our friend about how to keep the peace. This world faces some serious threats, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to promote freedom around the world. We're going to talk about our shared values that recognizes the worth of every individual. And I'm looking forward to this time. It's awfully thoughtful of Tony to come over here. It's an important meeting, and because he's an important ally, an important friend.
The point that I would emphasize to you is that the threat from Saddam Hussein and weapons of mass destruction, chemical, biological, potentially nuclear weapons capability, that threat is real. We only need to look at the report from the International Atomic Energy Agency this morning, showing what has been going on at the former nuclear weapons sites to realize that. And the policy of inaction is not a policy we can responsibly subscribe to. So the purpose of our discussion today is to work out the right strategy for dealing with this, because deal with it we must.
It's not us, it's not Britain or America that's in breach of the United Nations resolution.
This man is a man who said he was going to get rid of weapons of mass destruction. And for 11 long years, he has not fulfilled his promise. And we're going to talk about what to do about it. We owe it to future generations to deal with this problem. And that's what these discussions are all about. Pardon me?
Do you have any support from any other countries in the world apart from Britain?
Yes. A lot of people understand that this man has defied every UN resolution. 16 U.S. resolutions he's ignored. A lot of people understand he holds weapons of mass destruction. And that's what these discussions are all about. Final question. Thank you all. Good job. David, how are you?
Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've had several hours of talks with the President, and the talks were excellent, as you would expect. And I think the key thing really to say to you is that we have a shared analysis, a shared determination to deal with the issue of weapons of mass destruction, and a shared desire to deal with it on the basis of the broadest possible international support. This is a challenge not simply for America or for Britain, but for the whole of the international community. And the threat that the weapons of mass destruction held by Saddam Hussein's regime pose is a very real threat.
Your talks today, can you in any way allay the fears that people have that is the determination, come what may?
Well, I don't think I set a specific timeline on dealing with the immediate issues, but obviously it's important that we get on and deal with it, because these issues are pressing in the sense that the Iraqi regime has weapons of mass destruction. We know that, chemical, biological, nuclear potential, and it is important for us, therefore, to make sure that we deal with it as swiftly as we possibly can. Now, there's a whole process of discussion and consultation that has to be gone through, but it is also true to say that if we're being responsible about this, we deal with it as swiftly as the time for those consultations allows.
Did you discuss the evidence that both countries have got about the build-up of weapons in Iraq, and did you discuss how and when that evidence might be released and in what form?
Yes, we discussed both those things, and of course it's important that we're constantly sharing that information. As I've indicated to you, we intend releasing a dossier showing just why this threat and this issue is so real, and We'll release that, as I said before, within the next few weeks. And I think that that will show to people that however we deal with this issue, there is an issue to be dealt with. I mean, there's no doubt at all this regime of Saddam Hussein's has been accumulating these weapons over a long period of time. That's precisely the reason why the United Nations determined that weapons inspectors should go in there. Since 1998, they've been unable to carry out their inspections. Yet we know there are large stocks of chemical and biological weapons unaccounted for. And we know there was a nuclear program, and you know from the report from the Atomic Energy Agency that at those former nuclear sites there's been a lot of activity going on. So I think what people will see when we publish this evidence is that it's absolutely clear as to why weapons inspection and monitoring must take place. And if it doesn't take place, then we're left with this threat simply growing. And perhaps I could explain about the threat itself. I mean, the threat is a real threat, not just to the region, but because these conflicts in a region such as the Gulf will not stay confined within that region. They're a threat to the whole of the international community, including America and Britain, and that's why we've got to deal with it.